Hey friends, it's me, a slightly frustrated ebony otaku, a well-rounded nerd. Let me show you why I'm frustrated. Scoot. Here's my husband's office back there. Scoot back. Oh, we've just returned from Iceland as the time of recording this. That's all Iceland stuff back there. He got some nice yarn and stuff, but I will be doing a video just about that. In this jar, in this sparkly jar, is another set of figures that I had to strip the paint off and start again. As you know, she's a huge fan of shiny. And I especially love using the Turbo Dork metallic airbrush paints and the Vallejo Color Shift metallic airbrush paints because I just like things to be shiny. And a lot of times I'm pretty successful with the vision, but I have a couple of drawbacks. I don't know color theory, and I'm not much of a technical painter, to be honest. I'm always learning new techniques, and this is a set of figures that I'm going to rinse off after I do this video, and then come back if I'm successful with what I'm attempting, and do the same thing to them if I'm happy with it. I, I am attempting to do a true Zenithal prime to achieve the look I want for these figures. These are coming out of my Sons of Slaneesh box. And they are, oh good God, my brain just totally went on vacation. 1 second, I'll tell you exactly what they are. She had to go get her book. I just woke up from a nap and my brain is not braining. So these guys are, nope, nope. Where are my data sheets? Aha, data sheets. Okay, these guys are not Fulgrim, although I do have 2 Fulgrims. Let's see here. Not Lucius. So I have a Lord Exultant. Who you can think of him like a Praetor. It's new army knowledge to me, so I am learning. And I did base him and whatnot, and you can very much tell he is done in shiny Turbo Dork. And it turned out lovely. Let me move this, my jar of shame. But he turned out beautiful. Look at him. Just absolutely lovely. There are a few more details I want to do with him, but overall, pretty happy. And then also from the Lord Exultant, I have, where are they? They're not flawless blades. They're infractors and tormentors. So I have these guys. These are my tormentors, and you can tell them apart because they have swords. And the infractors only have bolters. They only have close range. They have long range weapons only. So these guys are close combat fighters. These guys have been reprimed and rebased, and they were stripped. And those are my infractors, and the tormentors are in here. As you can see, they're unit leaders, which each of them has to have an obsessionist. The obsessionist I did kind of in the same style as the Praetor guy. So these are coming out great. And these have only been airbrushed with metallics, and they've come out great. And I was like, okay, bet. So I wanted to do like a really bright pink and purple theme with these guys. And I just cannot get it the vision to vision. Now, some of that I'm sure is user error. I cleaned out one of my airbrushes last night and it was just gunked up all the way. But I've had it happen before where I thought I had a vision and then I tried to execute the vision. I was like, well, what do I do? In the past, I was just like, well, that's an ugly figure. But now I'm like, I can afford more paint. So I've lost the guilt of wasting paint, and I will strip a model now. I have had success in the past of models turning out great. This guy is a 3D printed Palatine blade, which he's way bigger than the actual Palatines, but don't care, he's pretty. But this is only airbrushed with a little bit of dry brushing and slight detail, like, there's blood on the blade. Anytime I have a sword involved, there's going to be blood for the blood god. Actually, I think I put gore on this one. Yeah, that's got gore on it. He turned out beautifully. Look at him. He's princely. You stay here for now. And then I also had Now these next ones are actual G-Dubs models. These two are Forge World Cacophony. This is from the. Let me just throw my figures everywhere. This is from the first set of Forge World Cacophony that I did. And I actually ended up having to strip these. I did a short about it a while back. But they're also very shiny metallic looking. There's some agrax in here and other details. They're not the most vibrant I've done. But I really like the basing on these, actually. They're kind of fun. These, though, after I'd done those, I went to the next set I was more happy with. Come on, light. Help the girl show the people. These came out beautiful. I'm super happy with these, actually. Look at that. So the detailing on those came out really good. And then here's another one. Basically strictly airbrush and Turbo Dork and Vallejo. And yeah, it came out great. Chaos blueberries. They're not light detachment. You can make any lead chaos. I just scared somebody with that look. But once in a while, I try to do this, and it just doesn't work. And with these last sets of figures for my Champions of Slaneesh, not working. Now with the metallics, especially the Turbo Dorks, the thicker the paint, the the better condition this needs to be in. I did figure out last night that it was sputtering a bit, and because of that, it was not spraying smoothly. So there was a color I really liked. It's a base coat, which is this blue raspberry, and it's this nice tonal purple shift. I could not get it to go out evenly, and I do love my Turbo Dorks, and I've used about a third of this bottle, so I don't want to waste any more. So I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna put that back in the box now. My airbrush box is down here. Also pink, matches what I'm wearing. She's a true child of the Emperor. And then I was like, well, I'll try. I had some which were these guys. This one is actually based in gold bullion. And I went back and did highlights, and it worked. Worked beautifully. Yeah, I know. I'm shook too and a little pissed about it. And then finally, putting it in the box. I have all my Turbo Dorks upside down so I can see the bottom and know what color it is. In this box, I'm going to do a short video on just my little painting box setup because it's kind of great. It's what I used last year for Adepticon, but I've got new cases this year for Adepticon and travel in general. And then the People Eater. I was going to... The One-Eye Born Her Powerful People Eater. Y'all remember that song. Come on, 80s, 90s babies. Be with me. But again, didn't do well. And that one I did get a nice even glossy coat. And when I started adding details, I was just like, oh, it's ugly. And that's not the fault of the paint. I am very much not sponsored, but I'm very much pro shiny metallic paints. I use those two brands. I use Vallejo. I use Turbo Dork. Like they are going out of style. One more than the other. Guess which one? But I love them because I love shiny. I like pink. I like bright. I like things that are just that pop. But I wasn't achieving it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really getting that Emperor's Children look. So I went, and I'm going to link this video. I'm actually going to remember because it's not my video. But my husband was like, have you thought about doing a Zenithal? And I was like, I've heard of it. I think I attempted it once. I have done this, which is that dry brushing buildup for speed paints, which is slap chop. So I've been slapping some chops, and that has worked well. I did that with my Bros and Badgers figures. They turned out beautiful. I'm doing it with my gnomes here, and again, turning out lovely, looking great. Fits the aesthetic. But I was like, on my actual army, chopping slaps. But a Zenithal is similar to slap chop, if I understand. However, it achieves a much better, like, a light contrast. So the purpose of the Zenithal Prime is now from this black base, which if you can't tell by how black it is, muso. She loves her some muso. And it does good in the recesses, and that is the whole point of whether you're doing slap chop or Zenithal, is to get those darkest darks and those lightest lights. So now where contrast paint or speed paints hit, you'll have the natural flow of the light. That's the point. And my challenge has always been, I'm bad at color theory. I don't know color theory at all. She had to get a color wheel. So I want these guys to end up being this particular set to be more on the pink side of things. The others are going to be more on the purple side. So when I turn my color wheel here to pink, look what comes up as a good complementary color, yellow. So what I've seen is that when you're doing that buildup, is that yellow under pink makes pink go wow. So I'm going to try that with my Zenithal. The point of the Zenithal is to hit those high points, so that when you put those contrast paints on, they really do that. They contrast. And I really didn't know that. I thought contrast paint was just for filling in gaps and making it look like you weren't an idiot when you painted. And there's so much more. So I'm continually learning new techniques. And for my cacophony, we printed out some custom 3D models. These are resin. But I'm going to hang these guys from a tank like in Magmat's Fury Road. I keep the war rig. And come on, they're playing guitars. I have to have course masters. Why shouldn't they be cool? The stock ones didn't do it for me. But I'm going to tip the Zenithal on these guys because, from what I understand, if I Zenithal right, I can actually paint quite a few figures, not supremely fast, but faster than I have been. Like, I did this set of 10 blueberries in less than a week, and I did these guys in a couple of days. So if I can get good at this and I like the result, it's another technique. So I'm trying to not just go, "Ooh, it's shiny, let's do that." I actually want some more technique behind what I do. Because like I said, I am going to enter um, the golden demon, like the idiot she is. I'm gonna set these on my husband's side of the desk. I don't want to get paint on them. Because I'm not golden demon quality like at all. I was about to take my hair down, but then I'm looking at it and I'm like, it can stay a little longer. It's so pretty. But it's just the blue and the purple together are just um but in looking at that, I want to start having more technique behind what I do. So I'm setting these guys to the side, and I'm going to start building up a zenithal on them. And I'm going to follow both the video I linked below and my husband's instructions on getting to that shadow layer that I want. I'm going to do my zenithal closer to how I do the slap chop, because this isn't just from black to white, it's black to dark neutral gray. And I went one step up from here, then to white. But these are gonna go from black to dark neutral gray to white to yellow. That way I can do the pink as my base coat. And I should get some good contrast. That's the idea. The video that I'm linking below, and I've forgotten the gentleman's name. It was such a good video. But the video that I'm linking, he was so good to explain, like, hey, if you're basing and use Zenithal like this is why it gives you contrast. And I was like, oh, okay. And some of this I'm doing with paint, some of it I'm doing with ink. And the reason being is I want very thin layers. I think my husband has absconded with my black. I have a shiny black ink, but I don't want to use that. I've got my white ink here. I can mix the white and the black to make a gray ink, but dark neutral gray, I can just thin this out a lot. So I'll do that. So we're going to go dark neutral gray, white, yellow. And then I'll be able to base coat. So let's see if I can get the zenithal right. Now, not an instructional video. She's learning with all the rest of you. Here. Gloving up. Must glove. I'm sniffling a little bit. I just got off a plane 3 days ago. I don't think I'm sick. It's just the adjustment back to my own climate. Iceland was beautiful, by the way. That video is on my channel by now, so enjoy. So this is spraying pretty good, but I have a personal policy of quadruple checking. I might use a different airbrush. My husband's off playing Blood Bowl right now, and I think I need to use a different airbrush for this. That's what my guts are telling me. I love this one, but I don't think it's the right one for this job. This one actually is part of my electric airbrush kit. It attaches to this battery and compressor, but it sprays really smooth, which is why I've switched to it. And that's what I need right now, is smooth. So it's not spraying at all at the moment. I just bragged on it and it's doing nothing. Hold up. I see what's the problem. The needle, when I put it back together, I did not get the needle in there perfectly. 1 second. A little tighter. And then this. Not quite popping back the way it should. Who has messed with my airbrush? Why is it every time you want to airbrush, like, there's something that is not perfect with it? I'm going to pull the needle out, actually. Part of the process, y'all. Be enthralled. Be enthralled. Move my mic so that I can get to this. It's funny. When I first started using the airbrush, I was so intimidated by the process that I didn't use it for a year after buying it. I was like, "This is stupid and too much work. We just wasted $200." Because I got a really good one. I got a Grex, and I got lessons on how to use it. And I was like, "I'm going to be an airbrush queen." I was not, um, like at all. I'm going to slide off camera for a second and fix this drippy nose of mine. It's not even that like I have a cold or something. It just, you wake up from a nap and you're a little congested. Like it's that. Just trying to get the needle tip housing off real quick. Come on. Don't be a jerk to me. It's being a jerk. Come on, come on. Okay, she's got to fix this or she's going to be annoying for the whole video and someone's going to comment about it. Ooh, it's gunked up in there. We got to fix that. 1 second. We don't do this on camera. Yeah, I've got a nose. You've got a nose. Yes, you can also see that my husband's side of the office and my office are very different. But she is in the midst of home projects. So there will be some new looks in different spots of the house. I can't wait to get the game room done because it's definitely a place where we've agreed that I can film. So, especially since we're doing so much work. There we go. Better, better. Okay, so this is gunked up. I'm just trying to do a Zenithal, y'all, and then I want to take my dog out. It stormed all day today, so I did not get to take him out. I mean, he got to go out and potty, but there was no go walkies. Oh, yeah, this is good nunky. This is a dead needle. I used to have a reamer, and I bent it horribly. I don't even know how I did that. I did something stupid. But when I have a dead needle, meaning the needle tip is bent, when the needle tip's bent, they're useless at that point. Well, they're useless as paintbrush needles, but what they are useful for is cleaning out the crevices of these. So, and get in here and use it to shove all the gunk through the needle tip without worrying about damaging a good needle. Oh yeah, that goodly little clog in there. Goodly little clog. I'm glad I did this. The smoothness is kind of the big thing you're going for with the Zenithal. If it's not smooth, it won't work. Oh my goodness, I'm pushing so much gunk out of this thing. I don't often anymore have to take my airbrushes apart to clean them. I've gotten pretty good at keeping them perfectly flow during the paint process, but when you use these metallic paints the way that I do, they are going to gunk up your airbrush at some point. Even primer will do that if it's not filtered using a little paint sieve. But and that's because the metallic paints, those metallic particles are sitting in a suspension fluid, and that fluid it cakes after a while. That's just the nature of it. That's not something wrong with the paint. That is the nature of it. And at first, I thought I was doing something wrong when I got this paint, but it turned out that's just how they are. But I learned how to deal with it. Here we go. Ooh, gunky gunky. I did this last night to another airbrush, and I was like, oh my god, when did I let it get this bad? Let's see here. I gotta move this again. Because all my little airbrush cleaning doohickeys are right here. Brushes. The ittiest of the bittiest ones. Got the smallest, yeah. In here. Make sure this is clean. I know you're probably going to ask, and I say this in every video, where's your ventilation? We literally, because we have his resin printer in here, a big old fan pointing out the window. We have good ventilation in this room. And my other 3D printers are actually out in the garage. So, and I've never been somebody that fumes have affected. And he's not really either. But we're not typically in here when it's printing anyway, even though we have it encased and there's an exhaust fan. Um, the window is basically always giving us fresh air. You do, especially if you're sensitive to chemicals and stuff. I mean, these are water-based paints we're using and water-based inks. You can still, if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, please make sure you're treating yourself well in this process. Now, I'm going to shove the needle through because pulling a needle backwards is just dragging the paint through the tube, through the chamber. So, look at that. That is caked up. 1 second. Scrub-a-dub-dub. This is airbrush cleaner. I don't often just use airbrush cleaner, but this is a moment where it's needed. There we go. Oh, in there. Right, and I'm going to rinse it through the whole brush. Now, oh, that is. I want this one. We are clock and clogged, which that was going to make for a bad time. Ooh, the water wasn't coming out. Now it is. That is. Oh, so many particles. Well, that was going to ruin this whole Zenithal thing, wasn't it? I swear to God, every time I go to airbrush, I have like 5 problems. There are all kinds of particles coming out of here. Now, for this guy, the actual needle, I'm going to clean it too. Why don't you edit this part out? Because have you been at my channel? We do real-time hobbying here. Got to. There we go. Well, I always have paper towel. There we go. Scrubby, scrubby. I'm literally having to scrub this needle. This is great. Why did I do this? No, you're never going to sit down and just like go, oh, let me paint and have my perfect movie moment. No, there's always something. You just have to learn not to be frustrated. Maybe a later walk with the dogs. And I've got some work to do tonight, actually. I took a nap after work. I meant to work late, but my brain was like, no. So I listened to my body and took a nap. And now I can clear-headed answer all those emails. I took a nap. But after work. And I don't mind working late when I have to. It's just part of the gig when you have the type of job that I do, working late happens. I would like to use these figures this weekend if I get them done. We're doing a practice, we're doing a ramp league for the new Horus Heresy rules. And I was hoping these should have been done like 2 weeks ago, but I keep not being happy with the paint job. A little bit of gunk left on the needle tip is what I'm trying to get off here. I don't want gunk. I'm being very careful because I don't want to bend this needle tip. But I don't have a replacement needle for this particular airbrush. Not all airbrush needles are interchangeable. And that's something you'll learn too. If you get into airbrushing, you can't just go, oh, here's a needle. Let me, use it in this airbrush. Does not work that way, friend. All right, we're doing good now. Now I can put this guy back together. It's the little pieces that'll get you too. It's like, oh, why is this so smooth? But luckily, I have skinny fingers. So I think that's how I ended up being the airbrush caretaker in the house, because I went from won't touch it to give it to me. I'll fix it in 5 minutes. There we go. There's still just a small bit of gunk that came out, but nothing major. All right. And the needle tip is clean, so that's good. The nozzle's clean. All right. Draw tight. Now let's pinch in the needle. There we go. Perfection. I need to clean out my brushes. I'm going to do that tonight. Move them to soak. Spraying perfectly. You just, you gotta have patience with these things. Patience with technology, friends. And the good thing about the cleaner in water is it will let me see the level of pressure that's coming through the brush. I'm using my glove for that. So it's a little bit too much pressure. Like you said, you wanted pretty high pressure from the brush, but I need a little bit more control than this. So I'm tightening it down. Whoa, too tight. Okay, so that feels good. Now that's no pressure. That feels pretty good. There we go. So with the water on my hand, I can see what this spray looks like. So what I don't want to have happen is bubbles and stuff get in here. I don't want it to pool. That's the alcohol water. I can also look to see if the water is coming through smoothly, because if the water is not coming out, then the paint obviously is not going to come out. So this helps me get that perfect flow. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to rinse it out, because airbrush cleaner does have a little soap in it. Rinse that out. Okay. Alright, spraying pretty even now, so just let this water go. I'm spraying on paper towel, not the paper. What did you have under those buckets? You have under those buckets. Here's my husband's, his airbrushes. Here is my little spray bucket deal. I have ways. We all do. Fine. Small water. This is also helping me understand the flow rate of this brush, because every brush has a different rate of flow depending on the pressure. He's a good boy. Are you the handsome? My dog. Are you the handsomest? You are. He's the handsomest. You may notice that my face and stuff are starting to slim down. She has started running in addition to her other workout routines. Oh my god. Running is serious. What can I say? All right. So I'm now going with dark neutral gray. So I throw this on the tumbler. I also need the center. I'm going to tumble this really good. I'm going to thin it really good. Yeah, I'm scared too. All right, tumbled. And I'm going to use a stand this time. I don't use these stands very much because I find they get in the way, but it seemed like for the Zenithal, not holding on to the base helps. So, when in Rome. We were playing with this stuff in grade school. Like, it was great. It was a good time. We all wanted to play with the sticky tack. It's nothing. You just make stuff stick to each other. When you're 7, it's a big deal. All right. So this is number 1. Okay, let's see what. Okay, I'm gonna follow this man's instructions. He taught really well, so I feel pretty good about it. So I'm going in with the dark neutral gray for my first build up. So I'm actually going to put my thinner in first, and this is actually the Turbo Dork thinner. I've come to really like it. My husband uses the Army Painter thinner. Thinner in, and I put like 7 drops in there. This is not a perfect ratio. It's just what I'm using. But I want this decently thin. It's like 20 drops of paint, I think, somewhere in there. So I'm going to backflow mix this. What's backflow mixing? This. Put your finger over the nozzle and gently pull back in the chamber. And the air pressure does the mixing. I actually have the cap to this airbrush for the paint pot, so I could cover it, but I'm not looking for it right now. I have a dog who wants to go for walkies. I want to make sure that thinner and the paint are very well mixed together is what I'm doing. Beating back the bubbles. So I had to move other projects out of the way because splatter is real. Okay, now I'm going to use the paper towel to see what I've got. So this is just up from black, basically. So he said, hold at 45-degree angle. And I have my light up here so I can see where the light's hitting. And then now I'm going to hit it on all sides from a 45-degree angle. I'm not trying for complete coverage. I'm trying to start bringing up from the recesses. The recesses will stay black, and the higher points will start getting lighter. I'm spraying from a distance on purpose to keep it smooth and not accidentally get the gray in where I want black. So you can see it's already come up a bit. Let me put this in its cradle. I'm sorry about the sniffing, y'all. So here's one that has not had this layer. This one's got the new layer on it. You can see it's already come up quite a bit. Okay, but I didn't get anything in the recesses. We're going to set this one to dry. Pink. And we're going to do the next one. Hey, Pookums. Eat that mommy baby. Eat that mommy baby. What him do? Yeah, just spray the paper towel to make sure it's spraying. It's kind of hard to see. 45 degrees. And I'll change the angle with each layer a little bit so that that up shading really does nicely. Hey. Wow. Okay. All right. It's Zenithaling. I'm learning a new technique. It's kind of exciting. Now that I've got a clean airbrush, it's going as quickly as I planned the video to go. I'll probably do the color on another video. If I do this well, I'm going to consider using some of these techniques for painting my Cerastus Knight and his armigers, because he's my next big project. What's on my desk right now I have to finish before I start painting something else. That's just my own personal rule. And if I do this well, I might have these guys for this weekend. So I'm super excited because I get to see all my Bama Heresy people. They're all super great guys. Bama Heresy is, well, our Alabama Heresy group. What we play, we join forces with heresy groups in other parts of the country, like Florida a lot, and Mississippi, Tennessee. But shout out to those guys and the accountability buddies. They've been so great in helping me learn this game. So great. I know rule changes can be frustrating. I haven't been in long enough that the rule change has consternated me, but I am corporate and changes are part of my life all the time. It's like, you're like, how, like, what's it like being corporate? I'm like, if you don't like change, it ain't for you, honey. It ain't. So, just get in there and enjoy it. It's, yeah, things change, but the only constant in life is change. When things aren't changing, then what are we doing? Everything has to grow and evolve. I think I'm going to end up with something really beautiful from these. I'm actually pretty excited as I'm watching this layer of paint go on. And it's so thin that it dries quickly, so I can go up to the next color pretty fast. And that's why I'm spraying just a thin layer from far away, building up these shadows. I feel like I'm about to do something I'm going to be very proud of. I really do. Not even being facetious. I think I'm going to end up really liking what I do here. And these other figures, I'll rinse off and paint them a little bit later this week. Probably on Thursday, because my husband has Blood Bowl and I will be home. I was going to paint right after work today, but my brain was tired. I don't want today. And it's going to be one of those stay up until midnight and then get back up at 7 kind of things. But having taken a nap, I feel like I'll be okay. And plus, I need to go get a little exercise with the dog. I'm not trying to get every crack and crevice. I'm just trying to get them highlights, high points. Looking good. All right, got it. For these, I have a little bit of paint left, and what I'm going to use those for are my rock stars. I am not these are not going to go on a base because again, they're getting the Mad Max treatment. If you've seen it, you are my people. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Nah, art is a matter of taste. I am probably going to give these a more electric metallic look than the others. These are laying on my painting Lazy Susan ring. One thing I have gotten really good at is judging how much paint I need. Which that all on its own is a skill. Learning how much paint I need in the airbrush has been a challenge, but I'm doing it. Just checking on my gloves, I'm still spraying paint. Not, whoops, he just popped right off, didn't he? Get back up there. I'm behaving so gingerly with the sprayer. I have 3 of these because I have 3 sets of cacophony. I don't think the new rules, unless I'm playing like a 3,000 point army, will let me have that many cacophony out at one time. That's a dream. Forty-five angles from the 45 angle from the top. Crazy what a little bit of paint and water can do. And that's all of these for the first layer of Zenithal. I need to be hit a little bit more. Yeah, he does. Didn't quite get him. Before I empty out this paint pot. There we go. He didn't quite get properly Zenithal. But it's wonderfully smooth and thin, which is what I wanted. So now I need to rinse out the black to do the next color, which will be white. So, well, this is dark neutral gray. So I'm going to put that back on my husband's. No, I'm going to keep it because I have to do others. I'm going to pack when he wants it. I will give it to him. Here. I'm going to rinse out the paint pot now. This is alcohol I'm using first to thin it out. I'm going to turn the pressure up all the way. Just spray out paint. That's another reason I don't always use the paint pot is I can't see when the paint's out. The alcohol is the fumiest thing that I use. So if something's going to give you problems, it's going to be alcohol. You hear that it's sputtering a little bit? That's what I have to be careful of before I do the next layer. I have just straight up cleaner in here now, and I am spraying. I'm going to dump this because there is paint inside the pot. So that's going to make a difference. I'm going to take a tissue and clear that out. So I don't just have random particles going through, but I had to get it nice and loosened up so I could wipe it out. There's stages to this. Airbrushing is a little bit of work. It is. But the more I do it, the more I'm coming to enjoy it. The friends of ours who do airbrushing a lot swear by it. But I like both. There are things I will hand brush for and things I will airbrush for. So I'm going to spray till it's clear. And doing it this way helps me know when it's clear. I do have a paint pot. Doesn't get a lot of use. Let's see, we have one for each of us. There's still some black coming out, so I gotta keep going because that will interfere with the white. I don't want to make the white the wrong color. There's a little bit in the tip that's making it do that. So let me get that out. Squeegee, squeegee. I think we're really going to start to see how the Zenithal works when I start doing the white. I'm doing the white in ink, and then I'll have to come back and do the yellow because the ink will take a little bit of time to dry. So I might be able to come back if I get it thin enough and do the yellow on one before I finish this video. I'm going to get it all out now. I'll do a little backflow cleaning, just like I did with the backflow mixing, to try to get anything off that needle. Yeah, there's still some stuff on the needle. Every airbrush is different. One of my airbrushes, I don't have to do all this. It just cleans and it's fine. That's the airbrush, not me. If I got sick after getting off that plane, I do not want to miss my tournament this weekend. There we go. Now it's spraying clear. Got it. Got it, got it. Now we can do the ink. The ink is a different story. I don't really have to thin ink because it's as thin as it gets anyway. But I'm gonna toss a little thinner in here just because I want smoothness. Perfectly smooth. I don't want any splotting or anything like that. So got the ink on the tumbler. And so now, as I spray these, I'm going to move them down here because this is helping me keep in order what has had the Zenithal and what hasn't. So I'm going to put a little bit thinner in here. It's not going to take much. And then white ink. Can't open a jar with something else in your hand. I know, rocket science. I'm shook too. Back up. Droppers of ink ought to do it. One thing I love about the ink is I don't have to waste it. Dropper, how much you need. All right, we're going to do some backflow mixing. I need to turn down the power on this. My husband has to put up with this all day. Ooh. Okay, that is smooth. Okay, that's what I want. All right, one at a time. Let's start from the front. Not a pro. Okay. On the top. Speckling. I'm gonna go rinse this off. I made a mistake. Be right back. So I went and rinsed off that figure. It's not too bad. I'm gonna have to use bold titanium white. The ink, for some reason, is giving me a more speckled look, so we're gonna have to let him dry. He doesn't have a ton on him, and I'll be able to cover it now that I've rinsed off that first layer. So let him dry, and I'm going to bottle this ink that I just used. We bought a whole bunch of little little bottles so that when we make a color, we don't have to waste it. But the speckling is not good. I just heard a sound in the house, and I was like, what was that? It was the ice maker. Spraying the paint into the bottle. The reason I didn't put this back in the dropper is because it does have thinner in it, and that will affect the rest of my ink. But I can use it in here. Just put it over here upside down because there's not a ton in there. I still don't want to waste it. So let's rinse this out. And I'm going to use my bright, no, that's metallic medium. I have to use his titanium white if mine's not handy. I don't want to use primer. Titanium white, I can leave this down here. Got it. Oh, that's khaki. Don't want khaki. Now I love take my titanium white. Nope, that's yellow. Which actually, the Pro Quill has been treating me so well. Is that transparent yellow? That is transparent yellow. That's not what I want. But ivory. I don't want ivory. I want titanium white. Where did my titanium white go? Transparent white. That's not going to help me either. Huh. What have I done? Girl, what have you done? You've mixed up your paints. Or my husband has it, which is probably where I have to get it from his side desk. Fine. Cleaner. Rinse this out. Olive flesh. No. There it is. Titanium white. Oh, way over here. His side of the desk is not as good. But I love him the most. Yeah, I was about to make a huge set of mistakes there. So far, I'm liking the Zenithal. It's reminiscent of Slap Chop, but with an airbrush. I'm gonna take my doggo out after I finish these next layers because he is over there just being mad. So now where I sprayed black, I'm spraying the white to see that I got it all out. Which I'm about to use white paint, so it's not as big a deal. I just don't want any clumps in here. And it looks like it's spraying nicely, so. Ooh, prices averted. I almost did a bad. I am going to have to thin this, though, like I did with the other one, because this is not airbrush paint. This is just acrylic. I like that. It's weird. This is like a El Cheapo airbrush. It's not expensive at all. But for this, it does a really good job. So, yeah. All right. For the tumbler, I actually need to uncake this because I don't want these paint flecks getting in my pot. Using my little cleaners here too. I don't want these big chunks of dried paint in my mix. There we go. All right, on the tumbler. I unplugged my tumbler when I did all that business. There we go. On the tumbler. Tumblr's still a thing. There's been so many social media. I can't keep up with them. when we go to our work in progress Wednesday, I'm going to endeavor to work on my names. These guys, since I'm airbrushing, I've got to leave them. That is not thinner. I've got to leave them home. All right. A little bit of thinner. A little bit of paint. Husband, what have you done? Paint does not want to come out. Doggedy clogged in there. I'll let him work on that later. Start with that amount. Zenithal. I gotta look up that word and where it comes from. When people would say it to me, I'm like, what the alien are you talking about? Xenomorph? As someone who works in adult learning, you cannot explain the word with the word. You gotta find other definers, because just because you know it doesn't mean everybody else does. Oh, this needs a little more thinning. This paint is gloopy. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Oh, that's smooth. Okay, that's what I want. Got it. Making sure it's not speckling. A little bit more. I'm not used to having to put this much thinner in the paint, but I try to only use airbrush paints in my airbrushes. The thing has clogged already. This is not clogged. Paint flat, get in here. There we go. Now we're painting. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right, let's do it correctly this time. Okay, that is smooth. All right, let's do it. Wow. 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 The depth that is already there. Wow. Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting it to be that great. Oops. It clashed swords. We'll meet you on the field of battle. Okay. I've learned something today. I'm a Zenithal. Zenithal. I'm a Zennial. Who named the generations? I don't like you. Because all it does is create division between us. When it turns out everyone had an interesting childhood and we were all raised differently because we were all born in different times. Oh my god, this generation's so different than mine. Yeah, that's how that works. um, I should hope I'm not being raised the same way as somebody who was born in 1812. Generations should learn from each other and celebrate each other, not be annoyed by each other. I mean, a little gentle ribbing, always fun, because there are differences that are genuinely funny between us. just hating on generations because they're not yours. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because I'm somebody who teaches kids and I'm always around people who are young and impressionable that I get a little annoyed by that. Looking beautiful. I'm using the white to support the yellow. Yeah. So I know it doesn't look perfect yet, but we're getting there. The yellow that I picked is pretty thin, and that is honestly why I picked it. I feel like I've learned a new technique, and that feels good. Um, always be learning. Like I'm in the process of enrolling in my master's program right now. I was supposed to have already started it, but I had some life stuff to deal with as far as like the surgery, so it kind of pushed me back. So I'm trying to start in November. Um, you know, educational leadership, which for my career field is a really good degree to have. I do adult learning, um, but always having an attitude of learning, whether it's formal education or just in life, will get you a long way. Like I learned a new technique, like in Taekwondo, there will always be people who just out the gate are amazing, whether it's because physically they're superior or, um, they just have a natural proclivity for it. But when people feel like they have nothing left to learn, that's when they leave, when it gets boring. And Taekwondo honestly has taught me to always have an attitude of learning 25 years later. I'm not tired of it. I love it. It's um, one of my favorite ways to exercise. And not just that, but I enjoy all the relationships that I have because of it. Again, I'm not trying to cover these in white paint. I'm trying to give them highlights on the high points. And the black recesses will stay black. I'm not spraying the underside at all. The whole point is to make it look like the light is shining on them from the top down. I have a feeling this is going to become a favorite technique. I can kind of tell I'm really going to enjoy painting this way because it's going to combine hand brushing and airbrushing. Now on large things, I will probably always use Turbo Dork like my tank stuff because she wants a big shiny tank. She'll always want a big shiny tank. But I can see how when I come in to do the big colors on these, how doing it this way is going to make those colors really pop. And what I might do, since I'm going to the shop tomorrow, I'm about to do the yellow layer here in a second. I might go through the contrast paints for what I need for the base on these, um, for the main armor colors. Because I have a lot of contrast paints, I can do better. Because now I'm feeling like I want these to be really special. And I feel like I can make them special now. Like, I don't feel like I'm floundering anymore. Our guys. My husband's gonna be so proud of me when he sees that I Zenithal and did it right. The first time I tried the Zenithal, I got the airbrush way too close to the models. I was like, this isn't doing anything. What shadows? Always be learning. I does not want to stay. He should stay for a little bit. Ah! You know what? If he doesn't want to be on the plinth, I will not make him stay on the plinth. You are your own cacophony. And the other Horse-Master, these are such fun models. All right, and this guy. Yeah, that's way better with the paint instead of the ink. The ink did not behave. I'm a little sad because I wanted the ink to behave because I like the inks. But I'm going to put him up here to make sure that I know he's the last one. And that was the last of that. So yellow will be the last color that I apply tonight. And then my next one will be the pink layer and then starting to detail. And I'm going to rinse off these guys. All right. So let's get the white out. Just a quick way. I know, baby. Mommy's being so slow. You poor dog. I love you. Poor thing. He's a poor thing. Are you a poor thing? Mommy don't feed you. Mommy don't take you for walkies. Never. Him don't eat. Him don't have 4 beds in the house. But you know what? If your animal's not spoiled rotten, like why even have them? Sometimes you'll see him in my videos asleep on the floor behind me. He just wants to be in the room I'm in. He's not much of a cuddle dog, and I respect that. Animals have body autonomy. You don't want to cuddle, you don't have to cuddle. I think I've told the story of why he's that way. I'll just say his first owner wasn't nice to him. I actually got Sammy as a senior dog. He was 7 or 8 when I got him, and so he's 13-ish right now, I think. Gotcha Day is July 4th. And he was just a good old dog when I got him. We would go camping, hiking together. Like we had a lot of fun together. But him's oldens now. He hasn't gone camping with me in a long time. I take him to the kennel to camp, his own camp, and they treat him so good there. He walks in there like he's the king. They let him sit under the desk all day and get stitches. I know his life so hard. It's so hard. But it stormed all day, so I was going to take him on a walk in the middle of the day so I could have a break during work. But the weather just did not cooperate today. And there are circumstances where I do not take him out when it's storming or when it's super, super hot. Like he just gets to the backyard or we have to wait for it to be completely dark. But in the dead summer, because I live in the South, even, the middle of the night, the pavement might still be too hot because it just gets that hot here. I'm not going to let his little paws burn. I do miss being able to take him on super long. We would go on like 5-mile walks. I'm not even kidding. It was dumb. But now 1 to 2 miles is about what we do, which for his age is still really good. This white paint does not want to come out. I'm gonna get my yellow one. That's all I want to do. I end up having to make up some more cleaner after this. Keep my baby. I don't know who rescued who, but we definitely needed each other when we found each other. He knows he's mommy's baby. And he makes sure my husband knows it too. He's not unkind to my husband. He just likes to make it known that he was here first. And that no one replaces mommy's baby. Almost got it. That white paint was a little pernicious. I'm about to put yellow on, so it's not as big a deal. It was super, super bright. It was 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 super bright. It while I go walk him in a second so I don't have to delay after I do this layer of the Zenithal, I'm just going to leave cleaner in the brush after I give it a superficial rinsing. But that last rinsing doesn't have to be on camera. Y'all seen me do that 3 times now. Okay, so the yellow is the last. So I'm using this. This is a water-based acrylic. It's from Createx. I've never used it, but it's super thin. That's why I'm using it. It's illustration yellow. So, mixy mixy. He doesn't like the air compressor. You let me know how this. I know, booger bear. I'm going to test spray this first because it looks pretty thin. So I don't know if I need to thin it. So I'm going to find that out first. Aeromix. All right, last color. Yeah, it looks pretty thin. So I may not need to thin this. It's never been used, which is good for me. No clumps. Look, the paint on my face. Right. That's why we take baths. I know. It's him suffer. Ooh, it's really thin. I'm gonna put a little bit of this in here and give it a spray and see what it does. Woo! Oh, back down the pressure just a little. Because it sprays really easy. It's very smooth, so I like that. Okay. Last layer. Let's see how this goes. So because I'm going to be doing mostly pink on these, that's why I'm going in with the yellow. But now I'm going to be careful where I put the yellow. I need to be more careful about where I put my figures. I don't want to roll over him by accident. I cannot wait until we redo our painting space. There it is. He bounced far. Okay, so I think I'm going to just hold on to it. Need a little bit more control anyway. I need to get like a real base holder. Those work, but trying not to get the swords and guns. But I'm gonna have to come back and paint those. That was one thing in the video that you'll see from the guy who gave you instructions. You are gonna have to come back and hand paint some details because there's only so much control you can get with an airbrush. Yellow. So pink is going on top of this. This is not the finish. I feel like with every model, I will get better at the control. But they should really help the pink to pop. Oh wow, even just in the yellow, it looks very, very good. I can see how that's going to make the paint just go, whoa. And I'm trying to do this in thin layers on purpose so that I don't lose detail. It feels good to learn new techniques. It really does. Again, not trying to overdo it. Already out of paint. So this one's really thin, which is good because I want a thin coat. I'm glad I moved everything out of the way because this overspray would really be on my nerves. Again, the goal is not to hit every part of the figure. I'm going for natural highs and lows. Good. Looking good. I'm kind of pleased. I think this might be the best soldiers I paint so far. Now, granted, my word bearers, not my Emperor's children, my first word bearers look amazing. It's also because I hand painted them over 3 months. I didn't know what I was doing, so every single detail on them is me with an itty bitty brush. And they look great. They look amazing. All this would be on my hand if I didn't have a glove on. You better glove up. You better glove up. And I would not, my ring is not on because this is a thin glove. My ring would rip this glove. So that's how I got me a big old ring. Flex, flex. They're looking good. I can't wait to get the pink on these. That's going to be when I really see the fruits of my labors, but these need to dry completely before I do that. This last base, because it's a little watery, I won't be able to put the pink on tonight. That's fine. After I do my work, I might do the Zenithal on the other figures after I rinse them off. But they need to dry thoroughly too, so I may not actually get the Zenithal on them until tomorrow. Which is fine. Which is fine. But I can see where's one that's almost dry? So you can see here that the black is very black and the yellow is very yellow, as it should be. So pretty happy so far. Now I'm following color theory here. If this paint doesn't turn out to be the best paint that ever painted, I'm gonna be pissed. But now I've got to see what color should go under purple. The color wheel will tell me. I think yellow can go under purple as well, but I think it has more of a green undertone. So if I put, according to the color wheel, if I put green or brown under it, the purple should pop, which I have a nice brown black, but we'll see. We'll see. One project at a time. Because there's so much overspray, if I wasn't wearing a glove, this would just be stupid caked on my hands. My phone just buzzed. I think husband just finished he's at D&D tonight with some friends. They do a weekly D&D, and son is off doing schoolwork with his granny because she was a physics teacher, and she's helping him with physics. So I get a quiet house. I'll go to the gym after work typically if I'm not super tired, and then come do some filming and painting. I'm going to crank out videos like gangbusters because the holidays are about to start. So you may see a bunch of like outfits and videos. That's not me being lazy. That's me making sure there's content through the holidays. While I'm getting started with my master's degree and seeing what that course load is going to be like and doing holidays with my family. That way midweek I'll just be doing shorts and stuff and of course my weekly live. Hardcore. And I have enough paint for this last one. I'll rinse this out. All right, that's the last of this paint. I just did my first Zenithal prime. Kind of great. I'm going to clean out this brush, and then I'm going to go walk my dog. Then I'm going to come back in and do some work, The folks are going to get some late night emails from me. It happens. But I actually like my job. So I don't mind. It happens once in a while. Part of being in management. Ooh, I think part of it too is because I started running, my body is adjusting to, because I usually run in the morning before work, or if I get a break, I'll go in the middle of the day. Um, so my body's having to adjust to this new workout routine. I'm used to working out only in the evenings, and this is new. So, but it's good new. It's good new. All right, friends, that was fun. I'm going to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one when we start putting some pink on these.